Hello everyone, I hope you're doing fine. My name is Skyline. I already made a video about team composition a while back, but that's pretty much ancient history now. I made it in the long ago time, of far, far away, that was Overwatch 6 months ago. So this is my update 2017 team composition guide in light of all the new changes to how the game is played at a fundamental level. My first video revolved quite a bit around ultimates because of how important they used to be. They used to come up almost every fight, so a big part of your team composition was basically just picking an ultimate lineup. That's no longer really the case. Relevant, yes, but something to really build specifically and only around, no. So let's get right to it. To begin making a team, we start with the tanks. The tanks are the cornerstone of a team and determine how everything else is going to work. We're going to designate two sorts of tanks, initiators and peelers. Initiators are the ones who go right up to your opponent's face and give them a hard time, distracting them from whatever the rest of your team is doing. The easiest example is Winston. He jumps in and puts a shield down, locking down whoever he landed on. He doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's very annoying and it forces movement from your opponent because it will eventually kill them if they don't move. Peelers are the opposite. They stick with your backline and keep initiators and flankers away. They peel, quote-unquote, opposing heroes away from your DPS and supports so they can do their job properly. The most obvious example of a peeler would be Roadhog, who can hook people away from his allies and lock that hero down so everyone else can kill it. So let's divide the rest of the tanks into those two categories. There we go. I put Reinhardt and D.Va into the initiator categories because even though they do have abilities that you can defend with, in reality, every hero in the game can kind of peel to a certain extent, right? Even a Mercy can shoot people with her gun, and the damage from that could cause them to want to back away. A Reinhardt can swing his hammer around if he gets dove, which is, it's okay, but it isn't as great as when he's standing further up, blocking ranged damage and pushing forward. D.Va can use a point-blank defense matrix over her supports, but she's still a lot better when she's projecting it outward, getting that big cone. Same with Earthshatter, by the way, and pushing forward. So anyway, you can pick up to 3 tanks. It depends on what you're going for. A lot of teams pick 1 peeler and 1 initiator. Reinhardt, Roadhog, Winston, Zarya. These are popular because they're pretty versatile. They can do whatever you want them to do usually. When you want to be a bit more focused, however, you pick multiples, like 2 initiators or 2 peelers. The triple tank meta became popular because you would run 2 peelers and a Reinhardt, who he can still peel if he wants to when his ultimate is up, and a massive backline. Remember when Ana used to have 80 damage? And nothing could ever break you. It took buffs to initiators like Winston and nerfs to backline damage with Ana to put that composition more in line and more balanced. So let's move on to the DPS now. The DPS you choose basically corresponds to the tanks. I'm going to divide these up into 2 categories as well, mobile and immobile. Heroes are balanced around mobility in this game, so if you have a lot of peel, you should use that chance to take the more powerful backline DPS heroes who can take advantage of the safety. If you don't have a lot of peel, your backline won't be safe, so you should take more mobile DPS heroes. Even though they generally deal less damage or they have some sort of special restrictions to them, the fact that they don't have to be babysat all the time will mean your lack of peel won't be as much of a problem. So let's divide it all up now. You should run between 1 and 3 DPS heroes depending on how many tanks you picked earlier. Unless you're going for a special strategy or some sort of cheese, your total number of DPS and tank players combined should total to be 4. If you have only 1 tank though, you won't have very much peel, even if that 1 tank is itself a peeler. So when running 3 DPS, it's most common to see it run as a bunch of mobile heroes with an initiator. Widowmaker is put into the mobile category, despite that being a bit unintuitive, I think, because she can easily reposition herself anywhere she wants and project her full amount of damage anywhere on the map very easily. So not only is she pretty mobile with her grapple, but her damage itself can be projected very far. 1 second she can be shooting over here, and the other second she can be shooting at a completely different part of the map on the other side without any damage fall off restriction. Also note that McCree is special, and one of his key strengths is that he has his own form of self-peel in his flashbang, making him good in those greedier backline compositions that normally wouldn't work. Finally, we have supports. I have a dedicated support picking guide where I only go over supports that you can check out in the description, but I'll go over them here as well, just a little bit less. There are 3 types of supports: mobile, immobile, and super immobile, aka builders. These follow along the same vein as the DPS heroes. Mobile supports pay for that mobility in power, so when you have a lot of peel, you should take advantage of the immobile but more powerful and more versatile supports like Ana and Zenyatta. When you don't have any peel or not enough peel, you should use mobile supports who can run away by themselves, so Mercy and Lucio. Builders are good for locking down specific areas of the map while simultaneously buffing your team despite not being able to heal themselves. Overall, you should have 2 supports, that includes builders, unless you're going for a special gimmick or strategy. This team composition philosophy works exactly the same for both attack and defense, except attack will lean a little bit more towards initiation, and defense will lean a little bit more towards peel, just by nature of the goals of the 2 different teams. This is why builders are generally not considered that awesome on attack, for example, because they are heavily invested in one area and in peeling, and on attack, that's not something you necessarily are going for as much. This is where ultimate ability composition and map selection comes into play. If you think you want a mobile DPS, you have multiple options, right? Tracer, Genji, Reaper, if you really want to. Look at the ults your team already has available and pick one that you think is good, that would fit in, that you need. Then there is the fact that some maps have a lot of vertical platforms and levels that would be suitable for a hero like maybe Genji, but not necessarily for a Tracer. I have a video about ultimates in Overwatch. I'll put that in the description as well. It's kind of old, but I don't think it's too outdated, so until I put out an update on that one, I think that it's still a pretty good resource to get an idea of what types of ultimates you need on a team. The last thing to consider is that you have enough healing for your team's health pool. Mercy and Ana heal for a lot. Zenyatta and Lucio heal for a little. There are some heroes that can heal themselves or maybe heal a little bit, like Soldier heals for a little bit. Sometimes pairing up a Zenyatta with a Lucio on a team with a bunch of tanks who can't heal themselves probably won't give you enough healing to cover everyone. You would want to swap in either an Ana or a Mercy to fix it in that case. I have a second channel now, and I stream and I cast tournaments and all sorts of stuff, so the best way to keep up with everything, all that, is to follow me on Twitter. Never forget, everyone, to stay positive and have a great day. See you soon.